Good morning, and welcome to the second episode of The Real Loop de Lou. I'm Chef Lou, and this time I got my microphone on, so I'm not going to be standing here going. So we got it going. We're good to go. We got our oven heating up outside, and from the ingredients that we have right here, we got a meat lover in the house. So we're going to be doing some pepperoni. We got the soppressata and a little bit of prosciutto right here. We're going to put on our pizza, fresh cheese. Maybe we'll grab some fresh basil from the garden outside. And we're going to bring in our guest here in a second. So the whole premise of the show, because I didn't explain it the first time around. Well, I did without the microphone. But the premise of the show basically is we're inviting people from our area to come in, talk, introduce themselves, let themselves tell them about the business or whatever they want to push, or just sit down and talk, eat pizza, and have some few laughs with us. And we don't know who shows up, or at least I don't know who shows up. That's the more important thing. So my wife knows, she does all the filtering and all that other good stuff. And then our client or our guest shows up, and we go out and we make some pizza and have a good time. So we're going to bring in our guest, and let's see who it is. Hey, I know this guy.
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me, Chef.
Introduce yourself, my friend.
Absolutely. Shain Davis. About me a little bit is I wear multiple hats on top of being a family man, a great husband, And
Yeah, you
then,
got plugged
but
up.
I'm a realtor in the local area here, and I'm a mortgage broker. I'm a veteran. I run a nonprofit called Shoes for Soldiers. It's very near and dear to me. So thank you for having me and being able to share what I got going on and what I do.
Absolutely,
I'm looking
absolutely.
forward to this, actually.
This is going to be a blast. We've had Shain over here a couple times, and we've known each other a few months now.
Few months we got introduced, and I was instantly drawn to you because you said pizza, and I love pizza. And then the good thing is that what I appreciate and love is that you actually showed me how to make and create the pizza to so much to where I want to get myself a big oven pizza maker as well, like yours. And one day that'll come.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the best part about it is you get to meet new people this way through my cooking classes or catered gigs that I do, and then bring them over here and get to cook like this and enjoy each other's company. And like I said, just sit down and talk and just shoot the shit and just have a good time. And that's the best part about it. That's the way the world should kind of act. We might be a little different here and there, but you know what? We're all the
those
same.
Those are good
man.
talking points,
right?
Discussions, not arguments. Talking points, discussions.
Yes.
To just get to know your neighbor, get to know a friend, make a friend.
Exactly. Yeah. Bring back the feeling of knowing your neighbors and sitting down and talking with them, having them over for dinner or just drinks out on the patio or whatever the case might be.
Absolutely,
it's the way it should be. Yeah, we'll get there one day.
Yeah, maybe,
or
maybe
back to there, one day. So you never, you hope.
Yeah,
you hope for better times for the younger generations coming up.
Well, like I said, I think you and I are more alike than most people are like they are, because I actually do want to meet new people. I do want to make a stranger a friend and get to know them. I can't say that I always agree with everybody, but we can find some common ground somewhere. I believe that we can get along.
That's right. That's exactly it. A stranger ain't anybody else other than somebody I haven't sat down.
You were a stranger once.
Yeah, exactly.
And look, I'm hanging out in your house now.
Yeah,
I'm doing a podcast with you.
Third time's a charm, right?
Exactly.
So so let's go ahead. We're gonna have a little quick break here. We're gonna wash our hands. We're gonna take out all our good toppings and our pizza dough. We got our pizza oven already fired up out there, so you get to see that in a few minutes. So we'll wash our hands because we do practice sanitation here, So
I just hope I don't mess up this dough, but you've taught me well.
This is your third time here doing this, so you should be good. And then the last time you were here, you banged out some pizzas.
I did.
So
I did.
We should be solid. I don't have any issues with that. So, we're gonna wash hands. I'm gonna go grab a couple of pizza peels because I forgot those too.
Okay.
So, and we'll be right back. There we go. All right. So now we're back. So now we're outside. Our pizza oven is it's cranking over there. it's hot, and it's a little warm out here ourselves, but
Yeah, but this weather,
it's nice.
it's beautiful.
It's nice.
It's beautiful out here. It feels nice to me.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, we ready to build our pizza here?
Ready to build the pizza.
All right, we got our doughs right here, and
I do like the fact that you make these from scratch. I
yes.
still haven't perfected it yet, but I'm working on it.
That's okay. That's okay. It takes a while. I mean, I first learned when I was 16, so didn't think I'd be doing this sort of a thing, 30 years plus later, but life is funny that way.
Sure is.
Before you know it, you're back to doing the thing. So it's kind of funny. It's like I go to culinary school. I work in D.C., so I cook for senators, foreign ambassadors, blah blah blah. Everything, all the time in the club I worked at, which is called the Historic Georgetown Club, in obviously in Georgetown, part of in D.C., so right down the street from Georgetown University.
Right.
So it's like I go from doing that to back to making pizza. My humble beginnings.
Yeah, but this is an art.
It is.
It's enjoyable. It's fun.
And I think now with the way that everything's going with the whole Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy doing his thing with the pizzas. I think it brings attention to the restaurant, whether good or bad. And usually he doesn't have bad things to say, unless obviously it's that bad. I've seen some pizzas that are like, oh God, I wouldn't eat that, but he's a trooper who winds up eating it. But he brings attention to these businesses that when the whole pandemic was going on, he kept them alive. Those mom and pop restaurants, and then they get good numbers, they get good ratings, and next thing you know, they're thriving and doing really really well for themselves, and that's awesome. And I you gotta love that. So it is an art, and it's good to see the people out there who are creating these culinary masterpieces. And people always say it's just pizza or whatever. Like, no, there's a huge difference. So many different styles, whether it's deep dish or Sicilian or the New Haven or what. He's like, just keeps
different
going
sauces,
different sauces,
recipes,
exactly.
everything. And here's the funny thing is that, like you said, is for me, I never thought I'd be out here, making pizzas or trying to do it on my own. It's always been, you go to the restaurant, have them make it. You go to order Pizza Hut, the Domino's, Papa John's, which, don't get me wrong, I like those as well. Mm-hmm. But there's just something different about being able to do your own, make your own, and share it with other people. And don't get me wrong, I've messed up and burnt my share of pizzas, just like I have with everything else. I do a lot of smoking meat and everything like that. I've dried out meat, I burnt it, whatever. But you learn from it. And then the thing is that for me, like I said, is I never thought I'd be out here making my own pizza, doing all this, because I watch a lot of like maybe TikTok videos or reels, and you see them doing it, and you're like, oh, that's so awesome. That looks so good. And here I am. There, it's right. It's so good.
It is, and it is fun. It's a blast. And using the pizza oven over here, you can utilize this for so many different things. We used it for a whole pork loin rack. We used it for our Thanksgiving turkey.
Right.
There's so many different things that you can utilize this. So it's not just pizza that this oven can do. Obviously, it does a heck of a lot more. And in the restaurant industry, it's like, you got a place where you can reheat something real fast, just pop it in there, boom, and pull it back out. You're good to go. It's like, these are godsends, man. This is better than Chef.
Well, like you already know, I'm in love with that, and I'm gonna be buying one here before long.
Yep.
I want to.
And that's our friend at Josh at Barbecue Island that takes good care of you guys. So if anybody's looking for a pizza oven, whether it's the Alpha here or Uni or Gaz or gonna get it wrong, Gozney, I think it's called. That's the one I was trying to think of. He'll take care of you guys. He'll give you a really good deal. Just tell him that I sent you, and he'll take care of it. So he's a really good guy. He knows his stuff. He's a barbecue master and does a great job. I know he travels a lot and does a lot of those sort of things. Throw a little cornmeal down onto there.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yep.
Can we get a spin?
Oh, shit.
There we go.
There we
Wow.
go.
Thank you for that. And
Bada
that
boom.
definitely was on the spot. That was not planned.
That's the good thing. We film live. We don't really edit much. If you've seen the last video that I did, you can tell I don't edit very much, and because I don't know what I'm doing. You know, that is not my whole shtick. I don't do that sort of thing. I'm not great as far as videos and stuff like that. So,
well, I'm going to tell you this right now.
technology-
I am not going to be flipping it. I am not going to be doing. I'm just going to lay it on here gently. There it is.
There you go.
That's all I need.
You noticed before I flipped it, I did a quick check to make sure I wasn't underneath the ceiling fan over
As
here.
a true professional should.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. You remember the old Laverne and Shirley, you know, where they toss the pizza up and it comes landing down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much. We don't want to do that. I think just enough sauce. Yeah, look at that. Enough sauce for
You
two.
did.
Yeah, it's like almost like I know what I'm doing. Almost.
I think you do. I just think you do.
So we got a little bit of cheese going on here, some thick shredded mozz, and then we got our standardized pepperoni here. And then, like I said, we got the soppressata we're gonna throw in there. We're gonna finish it with the prosciutto, and then maybe some fresh basil from the garden over here. So we'll throw that on after the pizza.
He said maybe, but it's a for sure thing. We need that fresh basil.
All right, it's a for sure then. So then we'll take some scissors. We'll go over here. We'll snip some basil real quick, and then we're good to go. So yeah, we want to throw on the prosciutto and the basil last minute because we don't want it to burn. We don't want it to dry out, and we don't want that basil to kind of lose its brilliant green color. So we'll throw that on at the very end.
Love it, love it.
Now my doc is, if she's watching this, she's gonna be like, you can't have all of those meats and stuff there. I went into the doctor's regular 6-month checkup, and it didn't go well.
Oh no.
It didn't go well. I guess you could say family genetics and all the other good stuff, but I can also say I'm not running and doing the stuff like I used to. So,
yeah, I hear you.
Let's get this sucker up and open.
And you can feel that heat just coming right out. It feels good.
Oh yeah, to a point.
Well, we got a nice breeze going on out here, so it kind of equals out.
Let me brush this to the side again, just a touch, and then we're good to go. I'm gonna let you put your pizza in there first.
I ain't too scared.
Now, oh, smoky as hell. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Shit.
The neighbors love you.
Well, love is a 4-letter word. There we go. Yeah, it got a little smoky there, guys. It happens. All right, slide it on in there, my friend.
Ooh, perfect.
Ooh, one shot, huh?
Yeah. I've had some practice.
All right. So then they're in, and we'll do some cooking here. So, Shane, you know, we touched on it real quickly here. We'll talk about your Shoes for Soldiers. So why don't you tell your story. I'm gonna
Yeah.
cook
So
pizza here.
I mean, you've heard a little bit about it, but the Shoes for Soldiers, it came out because I'm an Army veteran, and whenever I got out of the military, I started developing plantar fasciitis, arthritis in my ankles, and if anybody's ever had that, it's really painful. I can't even really describe it other than, you can barely walk. So going to the VA, and they were giving me the cortisone shot. They were doing everything they can to try to ease the pain, prevent the pain. Nothing was working. They gave me the boot. They gave me some uh, therapeutic stuff to do, and they eventually stopped giving me the shot just because they said it's going to be more damage than good. And so I had to just go through the pain. Me and my wife were still working out. We're going to the gym, and I've always been observant, nosy, as my wife would say. But nonetheless, I started noticing that everybody else in the gym that we were going to were wearing different shoes than what we were wearing. So they were wearing Brooks, they were wearing Hoka's, maybe some New Balance. I've always been used to wearing Nike or Under Armour, but it's always been easy, accessible, and cheaper for me to get. So I said, there's got to be something to this. Why are they wearing those and we're not? So we went and bought some, nice Brooks running shoes, and it was a total game changer. Today, I do not have the pain that I did before. In fact, I'm able to get out of bed. I'm able to get out of my truck, walk fine, no issues, no problems. And all it was a simple change of changing my shoes that I was wearing, especially when I'm working out. So I decided that I said, wow, you know what? I wish I would have known about this while I was active duty. I wish I would have known to wear good running shoes. Maybe I would have prevented all this pain that I have now. So as a mortgage lender, as a real estate agent, I said, I can help out. I can give back. So whenever I sell a house, whenever I help somebody buy a house, when I refinance a house, I said, I'm going to give back and donate a portion of my proceeds to the nonprofit that we created. And at first it wasn't, I didn't want to make a nonprofit. It was going to be too much work. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. Well, other people got involved. They said that they wanted to give back as well. So they started donating. Well, then I'm collecting donations and I'm kind of not doing it the right way. So I had to turn into a true nonprofit, and then it got bigger and bigger. So we have some big things going on. We've sent out at least probably 400 or 500 pairs of shoes already, or getting ready to. And it's just growing and getting bigger, and people appreciate it. They love what we do, and we're going to keep on running with it.
There you go. That is a heck of a story. We're gonna touch more on that. But as you can see,
Man,
careful.
Look at that. Yeah,
These pizzas are pretty darn
oh
pretty
my
darn good.
gosh.
Nice
I'm
crunch,
salivating over
crispiness.
here.
So we're gonna go and we're gonna grab the prosciutto here in a second. We're gonna go grab
Yeah.
some fresh basil, um, and then we'll be right back and we'll continue on with our chat. There we go. And we're back, guys. We got some fresh basil from our garden. We have a wonderful garden growing back here, and it's all to my wife that that we have this, because I cannot grow a thing. I kill cactus and I live in the desert, so that kind of tells you the ability of my growing. I can cook it, can't grow it. So if it depended on me to feed the community, I can feed you. I can't grow it, but I can feed you. But yeah, this is really really good stuff. So um, let you pick a couple of the leaves off of here. I'll
Okay.
take a couple off the top here, and then we'll throw on our prosciutto, and then we'll sit down and we'll slice this up. We'll sit down and eat it here in a minute or two. So we talked about the shoes for soldiers, and I definitely want to go more into that. But we also wanted to talk. You said you served, um, and then just tell us about your service, and then tell us where and what you
Absolutely.
did. I guess don't don't hold back, but don't.
No, so I love telling the story and talking about it because I had an awesome experience while I was in the military active duty. It got me out of my element. It got me out of my comfort zone. I'm from Ohio, and so I always like to tell the story. It's like it took me to El Paso, Texas. Never been in Texas, never been El Paso or anything in my life. And then getting on El Paso, I got to realize and find out what a real true taco was. That's what I always like to
Yep.
share because I never had anything like that. But I did serve in Afghanistan, and I tell you what, that was a scary time. Whenever first get to go of the unknown, you hear the stories. But I like to share this is that I learned so much while I was over in Afghanistan. It was hard work, lots of work and stress and sleepless nights. There have been so many days that you go for 3 or 4 days on broken sleep, 5 hours of sleep, 2 hours of sleep here, 3 hours here, if that. But I got to see that here in America, we are so blessed. I remember my very first time that being in theater, getting over there, and then I got to take a shower, which was probably 6, 7, maybe 8 days without shower. But you got to remember, I'm in the desert. I'm wearing all this stuff. I'm wearing the same clothes. I got to change my underwear and socks every now and then. But when I first got to take my shower, I looked down and the water was dirty. It was muddy. Irish Spring never smelled so good in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew what clean felt like until then. 2 days later, after my shower, I'm still getting a hint, a whiff of Irish Spring from me. What we take granted over here and everything is over there. That is just a totally different world. That's the reason why I try to be as positive as I can here, because I have a roof over my head. I have running water. I can go shopping at any time. I was actually talking to one of the Afghan police officers there. He was 19, 20 years old, and he spoke English. Well, I said, why are you being a police officer? He said, I don't have a choice. What do you mean you don't have a choice? I'm used to America. We can do what we want when we want. We have a choice. He's like, I don't. He said that I actually want to be a doctor, but I have to provide for my family, and whatever money I make here as a police officer for the Afghan police, I have to get to my dad. And I was like, that's so sad. So I learned a lot, and I learned appreciation for what we have here. And I always try to share that with others so that maybe they can look it back and say, my life isn't that bad. I have it pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know how to follow that up, but it's true. It's like until you experience the world outside of your hometown or your state or
your
your
country.
country.
And there's so many people that don't leave the state. So so many
Yeah.
people don't leave their country, even if it's for the course of vacation. Um, and I try to take on those adventures as much as I can. I don't do as much as I'd like to, but I got to go to a war zone and I got to experience that over there. And then if my mission coming back here is sharing that to help other people, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Open the eyes and open the ears of the
Exactly.
people that just are clueless.
Yep.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. It's well, you always hear the people say, we thank you for your service, but obviously, we do thank everybody that serves in the armed forces, and it's
I'll
one of
be
those
honest with
things.
you, it's well deserved because of there. I can honestly say there is truly a lot of sacrifice, and whenever they say you sign that blank check, they really do mean you sign that blank check because you don't know what's going to happen in 3 years. When you sign up, you swear in. 3 years goes by, and then all of a sudden you get that call. You just never know. You don't know for sure.
It's exactly it. It's exactly it. So, um, yeah, it's just it's crazy. But yeah, well, thank you,
Yeah,
obviously,
absolutely. Thank you.
and
And that's the reason why we love giving back to the soldiers, taking care of them, giving them some proper running shoes while they're doing their missions. And part of the job is PT running, and people don't realize that's part of their job that they do before everyone else wakes up.
well, that was my stepson. You met him here
Yeah.
the other time, and they gave him the opportunity, everybody to buy their own running shoes, and they didn't specify whatever. And I remember he bought like the most colorful running shoes that he could possibly find. He's like, "It's the first time in months that I actually seen something that wasn't green or
Mm-hmm.
black." And it's like I bought as much, and then they're just like, yelling at him like, "Why'd you choose those shoes? Like, you
Yeah, you
didn't
didn't
specify, sir."
specify, so
And I don't blame him. I was like, hey, put a little pizzazz in your outfit, and yeah. I mean, he loved it. I mean, that was his favorite part of the whole experience right there. So we're just basically firing his back in here just to warm it up a little bit,
yeah.
just to kind of get a little bit of melty, warmy goodness on the prosciutto. And like I said, not to kill the basil. And you can always top it and finish it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, which is perfectly fine. Just use a good quality one. Don't use cheap quality, cheap
Yeah, yeah,
products and
yeah.
stuff like that. I remember a few years ago I did I'm not going to say their name, but I did a thing for a local television station out here, and they wanted me to promote the olive oil company that was sponsoring the show for that episode, and I did, and they did a really good job and everything else of that. But I never once said I used their olive oil, which is like they're like, why do you like to use that olive oil? And I'm like, well, I love using olive oil for everything, blah 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 blah. Never once did I say their name, so
Yeah.
So I kept true to my word that I can't promote a shitty product.
There you go.
I didn't promote it. I mean, I guess I sort of did because
It's
it
there,
was their
but
whole thing. But it was all good. I made I forget all the different things, but I remember I made the recipe for an olive oil pound cake
yeah,
and put like a citrus salad on top of it. So like some fresh orange and grapefruit and some of the candied zest on top of it, and it's delicious. Even with their olive oil. So,
love it.
but yeah, it was fun. But how do we get on that? Oh yeah, olive oil. So top it at the very end, guys. Don't put it in there because that oil tends to get in on your stone, and next thing you know, it's just smoky, and we don't want that. So almost there.
Looking good.
Yeah,
Looking
buddy.
good. I can't wait.
That is delicious. Okay, so that is yours.
Yes, sir.
Slide this out of the way. Get you your slicer. You can slice it.
Slice it and dice it any way I want.
Put it into 6, cut it into 8s. Doesn't matter. Some people don't like to cut it into 8 because they can only eat 6. That's a joke. Do you ever see the? You ever see the video like the guy with his girlfriend? And she's like, I told him to cut it into 6 pieces because I can't eat 8 pieces, but she ate the whole pizza.
But you ate the whole pizza. Yeah, I've actually seen that. All right, I threw it all on there. How much of it I'll eat, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I'm so hungry. I wouldn't be surprised if I eat it all. I've been waiting. I haven't eaten all day yet for this. So.
I haven't either. I haven't taken my heart meds yet. So
please take your heart med.
yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like Chris Farley when he was doing the skit on Saturday Night Live when they're doing the Bears. You ever see that one?
I think so. Yeah.
The Bears, and he starts having a heart attack.
Oh my gosh, dancing away.
Such a good show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our pizza right here. Let me slide it right in here. Bring it on over.
Yeah.
That is those are some nice looking pizzas.
They are.
So
smelling delicious.
That's it. Nice little crunch. No flop. Look at that. Fucking hell.
Man.
Delightful. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Almost. All right, so we're gonna take our camera. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna eat, drink, and continue to talk some more. As soon as I can shut this thing, there we go. We're back, and we're having a seat here. And I took away the bottle of wine, which is important to have because
why not?
Why
not? Yeah. So haven't tried this yet.
Gotta keep hydrated. The flies are getting to it before we do, so
it's all right.
It's all good. I'm gonna set my glass right there on that napkin. That's about ready to blow the hell away. All right, so let me put this to the side here.
So what kind of wine are we having?
This portion of the Real Loop-de-Loo show is brought to you by A to Z Wine, A to Z Oregon Pinot Noir. A to Z Wine Works. There you go. I guess that's the real name. So, it's not
this
bad.
is gonna be an experience for me too.
Yeah, it's not a bad wine. It's pretty darn good.
I gotta try it.
Yeah. So,
cheers,
brother. Drink up.
No, it's not. I like it. I like it. I gotta dig into this now.
Yeah, let's eat.
Let's do it.
And then if it's not too complicated, I'll try to take turns here talking and eating and talking. So I don't want to have them, have the, one of those things. So,
damn, that's good.
It is good, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
And then as far as the red sauce is concerned, normally, when we're doing classes back to back, I make the pizza sauce homemade, traditional, good old fashioned way. But normally like this, I always tell people because you're only making 2 or 3 pizzas at most, The last thing you want to do is make a big batch of red sauce, unless you're planning on having for the rest of the week, pasta and whatever else like that. It's kind of pointless to kind of have that. So we always kind of go with Rayo's. Like I always
Rayo's
say,
is good.
it's a good
Even if you
quality.
doctor it up a little bit of your own.
Exactly. You take some fresh basil, you throw a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes in there, jazz it up a little bit, then make it your own. And it
Nobody
doesn't.
would know the difference.
Nobody's gonna know. I mean, you just kind of you can kind of cheat here and there, and that's perfectly fine. In the restaurant industry, there's a lot of cheating.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
and then
Well, see, that's what you don't know about me is actually when my first job was working in a restaurant. I actually enjoyed it. I loved it. It was a steak restaurant, kind of like the Roadhouse, but it was the Brown Derby Roadhouse, and up in Ohio. And I started out as a busser boy, but I worked my way to the kitchen. And like you said, the art, and I just enjoyed doing it every day. Coming in there, mashed or potatoes, the steaks. I learned how to cook the steaks on there, and it's just something I never forgotten. And I still do it to today. I'd prefer cooking on the grill. I do a lot of the cooking at home, and so whenever I'm able to learn something new like this, I'm all in.
yeah, and then
So.
learning is a good thing. If you can learn just one thing every day, man, it's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just unfortunately, the older I get, I forget one thing every day too. So
Well, you got to learn, and then let's just hope that we don't go too far down. You haven't peaked.
oh, I'm getting there though. I remember my wife was telling me a story. It's like, you remember when so and so came over, and I'm like looking at her just dead eye. I'm like, no.
I do that all the time, actually. So don't scare me like that.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, honestly, I meet so many people, and I accept that just because on a regular is that I'll walk up to people and just talk to them, say hi. Especially because I have the shoes for soldiers. I might look at somebody just the other day. Actually, I was at the gas station and I saw this guy in his car, and he was wearing a baseball cap, but it had military insignia on it. It was camouflaged, and so I was like, man, uh, I like what he's wearing. I see what he's about. So I was able to take one of my flyers, bring it up to him, just say, hey, I served. I see that you might have served. And he said, yes, I did. Thank you for excuse me, your service as well. Here, I want to give you my information about this nonprofit that I have. But there's so many times I might be at the gym or maybe a networking event, and I talk to people, say hi, get to know them, and then 2 or 3 months down the road, I might see them at the store or the gym or wherever, and they're talking to me. I'm trying to figure out where I know them from. I'm trying to figure out who they are, trying to figure out their name, and then sometimes it clicks. Sometimes they have to reintroduce themselves, but it's just I'm out there all the time talking to people, and it's just the way it is. My wife has seen it so many times.
Bumped my microphone right there. Now I think I met you, and then probably a few weeks later, I was listening to the sports 98.7 out here, the AM or FM sports radio station, and they did the commercial, and they were doing your commercial. I'm like, I wonder if that's Shane's in it. It turns out it was. So
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due. So Robert Mulvin is a good friend of mine. Actually, I found out he's actually kind of my neighbor, but he owns All Pro Shade Concepts. And no, I didn't know this, but I reached out to him, and I have a mastermind group that we do, and I asked him to come speak to it, and he agreed to it. So he started speaking and talking about it, and then I come to find out he's really huge into marketing. And then I showed him the shoes for soldiers, and he told me, he's like, you know what? I really want to jump in on this because I want to give back as well. And he's like, I tried to get with Wounded Warrior, but it was such a hard process. And, I just wanted to make it simple. Here's my money, support the soldier or the veterans and everything like that to help them. But he's like, screw it. And then I said, I'm not like that. Whatever you want to do, we'll do. And so he's been a very huge supporter of the Shoes for Soldiers, where he's marketing it on his marketing commercials that he's doing with other places, which is huge. So, like I said, All Pro Shade Concepts. You support them. You should supporting the active duty members with the nonprofit that we have. So
awesome.
shout them out.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's how you were able to hear that, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I just remember just driving, and I was with my other stepson, and I'm like, I wonder if if that was your company. Sure as hell it was. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome to hear, especially to hear it on the radio and getting the popularity, or
Well, it's
the
getting even
attention, I
bigger.
should say.
We've been on the news twice, local news, where we've already sent out. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but we sent out 47 pairs of shoes overseas to a platoon that they're in the right now. They're getting them. They had 7 pairs already received, but hopefully next month, thank you to Robert Mulvin and All Pro Shade Concepts, is that we're donating 103 pairs of shoes to I mean Brooks running shoes to Luke Air Force Base. There's soldiers that we're going to be donating. We're going to get the news camera out there, local media, and kind of make it a big thing because it is a big thing.
It is.
And so we're excited about that. A lot of time and effort and money put into it.
Now, I'm gonna let you take a bite there.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously want to promote this, to our audience as well, because it's a and it's an awesome thing to be doing. But the website, do you guys do cash donations, or
So
how you?
honestly, the best way to do it, especially for tax purposes, is going to the website, which is literally shoesforsoldiers.org. And you can, we always say not only donate, but you can nominate a soldier. If we have the funds, we'll send those shoes out. And if we have to wait for the funds, we'll wait. But if you want to donate, you're able to do that. Usually $100 will pay for 1 pair of shoes, and then you'll be able to donate there. And then for tax purposes, you get an email to show that you did donate that. But if you want to Zelle, we accept Zelle, of course, cash. You can always reach out to me as well. But shoesforsoldiers.org is going to be the best way to get the donation to us, so it's more trackable as well. And
Okay.
then also the Shoes for Soldiers Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, and what we always like to do is that we don't want to be known as a nonprofit and people questioning, well, is my money really gone to the soldiers?
Yeah.
We always ask the soldiers to send back pictures so that we can show here's the shoes, they have them in hand, so people can feel confident and know that where the money's going at, and it is, shoes are being bought and they're given to soldiers.
It's a great
So
thing. It's a
yeah.
great thing. Um, do you guys do any fundraisers or anything else like that? Or
Yeah, so we always look for events whenever we're able to. Like we just did. I don't. Do you know Anthem Music in May?
I know Anthem, but I don't know
Oh no, no.
the Music
So
in May
the
thing. No.
Music in May thing is every Friday night. They at the big park that they have there. They have music. A band come in and they have a different theme. Like last Friday was country night, and it was a big thing. They allowed us to sit up there and just share our tent and share the information. We do raffles. So we do stuff like that. Or Harley Davidson in Scottsdale, they allow us to come to their bike nights, their rallies, their events. Anthem, they invited us to go to their big fireworks show that they have, set up our tent. So it's just a way of, if we don't get a whole bunch of donations, it's a way of at least getting our word out there, recognizing our brand. And so people can say, oh, yeah, I've heard of them, I've seen them. And so you never know what that's going to lead into down the road.
Yeah, yeah, just staying in front of the social media and stuff like that, just getting the attention out there, just brings more legitimacy and people wanting to donate to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole being on the radio and doing the TV shots where they come in and they talk to you. I mean, this is all good stuff for you and
Yeah, I've
obviously
done
the
podcasts as
soldiers.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, any which way we can help, like I said, small business, mom and pop places, organizations like what you're doing. I mean, this is what we like doing, because
Well,
like,
see, that's the thing is that people like to I like looking for people that are about action. Don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of people out there that love to say that they support veterans and they love to support active duty, and this is the way to be able to be actionable about it, about truly doing it. Because if you have a house to sell, you're trying to buy a house, you're trying to refinance or something like that, you're able to utilize me and I'll do the best job I can for you. But you're supporting a veteran, but knowing that because you're supporting a veteran, at the same time you're going to support an active duty soldier, because we're going to donate to the nonprofit to get those shoes to our soldiers.
yeah, that's a great thing.
So
That's a great thing.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Anything that can help veterans. I mean, that's what our focus should be on. Um, getting them, you know, job placements when they come back, or education, with the whole GI bills and stuff like that, to kind of get them, you know, reacclimated to life back over here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a great thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. So
That's what we're all about, and that's
so
what we try to do, and putting the word out there and educate. It's all about education.
that's it. That's it.
Hmm.
Teach people and yeah, let them know where their money's going and that it's actually getting there.
Yeah, yeah, and we always, like I said, we want to make sure we show it, and that's the reason why we ask the soldiers to send back pictures because like other organizations, and I won't name names, but big ones, they've gotten in trouble, and people have questioned, where's my money going at right now? And as I can say, is that we don't have a staff, so everything that we do is voluntary, and so the money that we have is 100% goes to the nonprofit and to the soldiers.
There you go.
So
Perfect.
yeah.
So if you guys want to donate, shoesforsoldiers.org,
Uh-huh.
and then give them a follow on Facebook. The more attention that we can bring to a good cause like this, just puts it out there and lets people know it's one, it's legitimate. Two, it's a great cause, and it helps out the soldiers coming back and or over there still. So
Well, like I said, it's more about the education to wear proper running shoes because whenever you're active duty, they're all about proper wearing to accomplish the mission.
mhm.
Well, they're always talking about wearing boots. They're always talking about your uniform, eye pro, taking care of your dome, your head, your brain. But not once has anybody ever said, "Hey, those are the wrong shoes. You shouldn't be wearing those for running." Hey, it's time to change out your shoes. They're getting kind of worn out, and that's where we step in, and we want to be that leading charge of, hey, take care of your feet, not only in boots but also in tennis shoes.
Yep,
And that's
exactly it.
and then hopefully that leads on to them taking care of not their soldiers, their kids as well, and when they come back, they're able to continue that, and that's what we're about.
It's a good cause. It's a
Mm-hmm.
really good cause. And then as a former runner, I know how it is, to have a good pair of shoes on your feet, man.
I
It's
didn't.
a
I
huge
didn't
difference, absolutely huge
until it was too
difference.
late.
Yeah, I mean, I went through so many different pairs of shoes. I tried different types. I originally started out with the Nike that were more like for track,
Mm-hmm.
so they're really lightweight shoes, very breathable, very nice. Felt like nothing on your feet, and they were great. But you start going like not even trail running, but just running on the roads out here. It's like there's rocks and everything. Oh my god! So you adjust, and I went from that to Hoka's to Adidas to Brooks, and what am I wearing now? I'm wearing Brooks. There you
Yeah, I
go.
saw.
So um, yeah, this is one of those things that you find something that works for you, and then you just go for it. And then if you can afford them, because like you buy the uh, the
Insoles.
insoles, they're as expensive or more expensive than the shoes. And I'm like, after the shoes are dead, because like I don't know how many pairs of shoes I got, that like have like one hole worn out from my toes, because like my toe always wears out the right side for some reason. Um, as like I'm taking those insoles the fuck out. They're coming with me because
Yeah.
those things are expensive as hell. It's like I'm taking those with me. I'm
Next
putting them in.
pair.
Yeah, I'm putting them in a new pair of shoes. Like
Next pair.
absolutely, those are still good. They don't smell good, but they still they work well. But yeah, it's like that's not cheap. It's
Yeah.
like when you want to buy a decent pair of shoes, it's like no, we're not talking the good old days. Like I remember like going to the grocery store with my mom back in the day when I was like a kid. It's like I was like pick out your shoes out of the bin. It's like oh, my old pair of shoes, like no name shoes. It's like and then trying them on in the grocery store, and shuffling around because they get that little freaking hook in the middle. It's like I don't like that.
Let me share this. Let me share this story with my grandmother one time. Um, we didn't grow up rich by any means, and you're always looking for ways to save money. And we my parents and grandparents, they always made sure we did dress nice and whatnot. But you go to Kmart at the time
Mm-hmm.
and go
Mm-hmm.
shopping, and you didn't as a kid you didn't know any better. But I remember my grandmother, good intentions of course, but we went dumpster diving once to in the back of the store, and it wasn't like food and stuff like that, but I don't know how they might have heard from somebody saying that they throw away their shoes or
Hmm.
whatever, and maybe returns. So we went one time, and we went and went dumpster diving, and we actually did find some brand new shoes in the dumpster that still in the box, that we grabbed some, and we only did that once that I remember, but heck, we had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah, I worked at a department store. It was basically like the equivalent of Walmart back in the day on the East Coast. A place called Jamesway, right?
Hmm.
Pizza. Anyway, um, we used to have the book section and stuff like that. And the books that weren't selling, they would just rip the covers off and then throw the books away because they couldn't whatever. It's like resell whatever. And I'm like, why don't you guys give these to like the retirement communities and the
Donate
whatever
them
else? Like,
somewhere.
yeah, they couldn't do it. They weren't allowed to. And I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard.
Doesn't make
How can you
sense.
not donate something like that? A book. To like a senior center, and it's like let them read books and let them do this and let them. They throw it away. They throw it away. How many times things that go to waste like that? So I was like, yeah, people dumpster dive. It's like you're gonna find some really good treasures in there. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you might have to dig through some garbage here and
Well,
there, but
like I
you know
said, that
what?
experience was my one and only time. Thank God,
Yeah,
been blessed with that throughout my life, and but yeah, that was the one time. Like I said, we didn't know any different, and heck, we had made me and my brother, we made a game out of it. It was kind of fun for us at the time and whatnot. So I think we did find a couple pairs of shoes. I think I might have found some even golf shoes at the time, which I wasn't going to wear, but they were brand new.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna like I'm gonna find a place where I can walk around with these little,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like there's nothing. I mean, you do what you got to do. Necessity, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. But yeah, like I didn't grow up rich by any means either. Like I said, you go into the grocery store picking out your shoes for the school year. I
Yeah.
was like, as a kid, I'm like, oh my god, I was like, those are the worst bobos I ever seen in my life, and here I am, I'm wearing them to school. It's like, yeah, like I remember I had to pick out a pair of shoes for my brother. I picked out the nastiest red shoes I could find. It was like, I was so pissed. And I'm like, oh, that's why you should have went shopping.
Well, things are different than they are now. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to watch my tongue sometimes because, I know that we live in a different world than we did 20, 30 years ago. But, like you said, is, you go through school and you get one pair of shoes. Sometimes that one pair of shoes might have to last you throughout the whole year.
Yep.
Maybe you get lucky at Christmas time, you get another pair of shoes. But now, you could take the kids to go shopping. They get like two or three pairs. A
Yeah.
month or two later, I want another pair, and then and it's just things are totally different. And like I said, I have to hone myself in remembering that we aren't. Things are different. They're not like they used to be. And I guess and another thing, that is a blessing that we're able to do that now. But sometimes I wonder, are we hurting ourselves by all this stuff that we're able to get as abundantly and as fast as we can? But only
Well,
time will tell.
I think the flies are finding us now. I think that sometimes by giving too much, I think you know the kids wind up becoming a little, I don't want to say spoiled, but maybe too accustomed to the nicer things in life, and it's like, and then you got to work.
Not their
Yeah, I
expectations.
mean, you have to work. It's like when you go to college, guess what? You got to work. Guess what? Then you started working. Like I started working when I was 15 years old. To put myself through college and stuff like that. I didn't want to depend on my parents to put me through. I didn't want to have burden them with the bills for 4 years or whatever. I only went there for a year, but that's a whole other story. But like I worked, I saved up the money, and then once college, I decided wasn't it. I saved up money to go to culinary school, and
Hmm.
I put myself through culinary school, and I graduated. Didn't have any money left, but I graduated. I paid off my bills. I didn't take out a loan. I worked. I saved up my money. So I think with everybody wanting everything for free, it's
For
like
free.
mommy and daddy ain't taking care of
And
me no
that
more.
that entitled thinking
Mm-hmm.
mindset that you know I never had that. I didn't grow
No.
up. So sometimes it is hard for me whenever I see that and I feel it and I hear it, and I just have to kind of just grind my teeth and
Yeah,
move
yeah,
on,
yeah.
because that's just the way it is now in this world. And no matter what I say or do, it ain't gonna change their mind. It ain't gonna change the way that they think now.
You can't change the way. That's not, as a stranger. It's not my job to change, your kid's way of thinking. What I mean, it's like that was the parents' job. It's like
Well, I'm
teach.
just talking about even in my own family that I've seen, and but
Yeah,
they are a product of what we have raised. So really, there's nobody to blame but myself, and a little bit of society, I believe. But you know, I could have said no to a lot of things. Could have seen the tears, but it is what it is, and all we can do is hope for the best for them.
well, I think the harsh reality is once you get out into the real world on your own, whether it's first time in college or whatever the case might be, or when they first graduate college, it is a huge eye opener, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, teacher, it falls upon the parents. Teach your kids. Life isn't gonna, it's not gonna be easy. It's certainly not gonna be handed to you on a silver platter. I mean, maybe for that one
Well,
percent of that 1%,
one
maybe,
percent
but
of the 1%.
yeah.
Well, this is another thing. This that has hit me is that being a realtor, my job is to try to facilitate and help people become homeowners, educate them on what a home can do for you and your family or yourself, even if it's for investment purposes of what it would do down the road. But I've had conversations with many younger generation people, kids, if you will, that you would think that, okay, this is time that you should be looking into buying a house. But this is what I hear a lot of times is that they don't want to. They'd rather rent because they don't want that responsibility of what if something breaks. They don't want to take care of the lawn. So if you rent, especially with these apartments that are being built and stuff like that, everything's included. All you got to do is just go there, open the door, and rest your head, watch some TV. But
Hmm.
there's nothing else you got to do. If the garbage disposal breaks, you call somebody. They even set out the trash. The trash person comes, picks up their trash. Nothing that they don't want that responsibility of anything anymore. And I'm not speaking for everybody, of course, but I've talked to enough where they're just like, no, I'd rather not do that, not have that responsibility. Or, you know what, if I want to leave, I can leave. I don't have a commitment of a house, which don't get me wrong, I can understand that. But at the same time, investment purposes, we have been able to live the life that we live and live in a house that we live because we bought a house. We waited, equity built, we bought a house, and it's just builds right up.
Now, speaking of, you know, responsibility and you know house sales and stuff like that, have you found, because like it seems like I've heard from other realtors. One, first of all, let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah, good.
Does it drive you nuts when people say realtor?
Nah, tomato, tomato. I don't care. You do
I,
you.
it
You do
cracks me
you.
up because like I always found myself doing it too until somebody corrected me. Like, you're saying realtor, and I'm like, yeah, I guess you're not a cat, are you? It's like,
Well, it's just like me growing up in Ohio, and my wife makes fun of me. Is that creek or crick?
crick. Yeah,
I mean, I always call it a crick, and my wife be like, "What's a crick?"
that's East Coast right there,
Well, I
man.
mean, it's what we call it, but I don't care. You can call it realtor, it whatever you choose. I'll answer to both.
You want to talk about crick? What's in the crick?
Crawdads,
Water.
water.
Water. That's a Philly thing right there,
Yeah,
man. So
yeah,
it's like, yeah, you want a glass of water? What the hell's the water?
water.
Water. Like tap water.
Hmm.
Like, what?
Or what about a tote?
Tote. What's that?
A bag.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, yeah. I was like thinking the tote's a bag. Yeah, it's like I know it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I don't know, I never really thought about that one. But we had Philly was they had the newspaper, and I'm going to say it the right way, the Philadelphia Inquirer. I
Inquirer.
could barely get that out right.
Inquire.
Inquirer, no, Inquire.
I get you.
Philadelphia Inquirer.
Oh wow.
Inquire. It's like, like, wow. It's like, or use guys. It's like, I remember when I went to culinary school, we went out drinking, and somebody brought up the electric company. I'm like, oh, I remember that show. They start, hey, use guys, and they go, what the fuck is use guys? And I'm like, no, geez. So it was, it's funny like how our words and everything like areas have
Yeah.
different ways of saying it. It's kind of like with the people saying soda and pop and stuff like that, and it's like
Cola, soda, pop. Me growing up, it's always been pop, and then moving down here and meet my wife, I would say pop. What's a pop? You gonna
yeah,
pop each other?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a pop. And then of course I transitioned to saying soda or cola. So now even for me, whenever somebody says pop, I have to okay, yeah, and
Yeah,
bring myself back.
we used to say soda, unless it was like a brand name,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like because like everything was soda. But then it was like I was like, hey, you want a Coke or you want a Pepsi? And I was like,
No, we said
like
pop. Pop was pop.
mom
Whatever
stepped
we
up the
had.
game instead of buying the the generic a treat or whatever from from the local whatever. It's like oh, we bought the Coke or the Pepsi or whatever. It's like, but I wanted to bring back to the whole sales of everything. You find in nowadays that it seems like I heard like people are having issues now with market or the realtor areas like people buying are having issues with like uh, again buying over their means, racking up credit cards, not being able to payments. Are you having any issues with like getting?
Yes and no. Because now everybody's social media, I believe, has trained a lot of people that you have to have the best car. You got to have the best things in life, and
The new iPhone.
the new iPhone. So instead, like for me, like I said, growing up is like, don't get me wrong, is that I did have the nice things, but I also made sure I was able to afford it. So like my first car, it was a 1983 Toyota Tercel hatchback. My parents gave it to me, but I hated that damn car, and I could not wait to get out of that car. And they told me I had to save up enough money to be able to put down for another car, and I did. And so I got myself another car, but whenever I did do that, I made sure that I was able to afford and not depend on my parents because of my stupid decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did I make bad financial decisions growing up? I sure did. I sure did. But I also learned from that. And so, but now I see the same thing with, I mean, don't get me wrong, things are expensive, things are high. So I've seen people with, truck payments that are $1,200 a month. So you'd rather drive around a $1,200 a month truck payment than living in a house that you can be building a foundation for. But the transition is that people that really do want to buy a house, they'll do anything and everything they can because they've already lived, some of the stepping stones of, well, I was a renter. Well, then I got comfortable where I was renting at.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden the owner of the house is getting ready to sell. I have 30 days to get out. I mean, so it's yes and no to answer your question. It just depends on the person and who you are and what kind of upbringing you might have or thinking you might have.
So the I've been noticing absolutely the houses around here that are for sale.
Now, I noticed you got a lot of houses around here for sale.
They started off here and they're slowly boom,
Oh, because
boom,
the market
boom.
has changed. It is more, in my opinion, it is more of a even out or more of a buyer's market now.
Mm-hmm.
Because even last year it's triple quadrupled the amount of homes that are on sale. But I believe that last year is that as we were coming into getting a new president, holidays, everything, and so everybody's waiting. And plus with the Fed saying that they're going to drop the rates, which they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was waiting for the rates drop. Then whenever they got a new president, oh, the rates are going to be dropped, and then we're still waiting for this rates to be dropped. But people, they got tired of waiting, so they put in a house on the market for whatever reason. They have to move out of state. They need to upsize, downsize. So we have a lot more houses out there available. So now buyers are able to be choosy and picky of what they want compared to what it was 4 or 5 years ago. And so now, people still thinking that they're able to get top dollar for their house. It sets for 30 days. Well, we need to lower it. It sets for another 2 weeks. We need to lower it. And then, your house is only going to be worth what somebody's willing to pay for it,
Right.
not what Zillow says, not what you think it is. It's just, it doesn't work like that.
No, no. I hear a lot of stuff about Zillow, and it's usually never good. But the only thing good about Zillow is like when you go in there, they can see the photos of the houses and stuff like that. It makes it a lot easier to, if like if I want to check an area where, like I live, and it's just to see the houses, and like you kind of snoop, and see what's
It
going
is
on
a
in
not
so
good
and so's house.
idea, but that Zestimate, like
Yeah.
I say, don't go off of that just because this happened to me 2 weeks ago. A guy reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're thinking about selling our house. Zestimate says that we might be able to get $638,000 out of it." Okay, cool. So he did a smart thing. He reached out to a professional who can be able to look at the comps, look at everything else, and he just said, "I want honesty. What is my really house ideally?" And I had to come back to him and said, "That's off by $150,000." I said, I could list it, but it's just going to sit there and
Right.
sit there and sit there, and we might be able to hopefully get an offer in, but based off what I'm seeing, it's $150,000 more than what it really is worth." And he said, "Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. We'll wait."
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even in the ballpark.
No,
I mean,
no, it wasn't even,
good
$15,000-$20,000 off.
God.
And honestly, I was trying to find a way to even get it higher. I just couldn't. I mean, and I could not come to him and with my hands clean, everything like that, of just lying to him. I couldn't do it. So he appreciated the honesty, and because that's my reputation. I don't want to put that online
No,
and
exactly.
everything. So
Exactly. Yeah, because you look bad.
yeah.
So yeah, so Zestimates are worth shit. So just FYI, so everybody's looking at the your house on the Zillow, on the Zestimate and whatever else of that. Like I said, I think it's good as far as like being able to see things. Like I can't, in my field, it's like Yelp is the
Mhm.
biggest pain in the ass right there. It's like, I'm gonna be, going on Yelp, and I'm gonna make sure that you don't get my business ever again. I was like, I don't care. You and your friends, if your friends are anything like you, I don't want your business. So get out. And I was like, I don't care. So Zillow is like your Yelp, or it's like,
Yeah, well, like we were talking about earlier, you can do anything and everything you possibly can for your client, but you can't please everybody.
right,
One person or a certain amount of people will find a way to bitch and complain about what you've done, your service, your product, when you know that you've done everything you can to try to help them, but they didn't see it that way.
they
Don't
never
make
do.
don't
They
make
never do.
don't make your problem my problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
We're taking a little break. This is like when the waitress comes over and goes, "How's everything?" I'm like, so
I hear you. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I believe that I believe in real estate. I believe, like I said, for me personally, what it's been able to do for me and my family is to be able to help us to get to the life that we are at right now. And we have lots of equity. We were able to do lots of things that if we didn't make that initial investment in the very beginning, 7, 8, 9 years ago, buying a house, we wouldn't be where we are today.
right, right,
But we
exactly.
had to take that chance and go for it. So hopefully other people see it and they can use me to help them.
Oh, let's hope so. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Do you have a website for
Yeah,
the
it's
realty, or
literally davisrealtyteam.com. Davisrealtyteam.com is as simple as that.
there you go.
I do have a number. I always like to pride myself on answering my number. It's 480-868-4069. Call or text.
There you go.
So
There you go. We'll put that. I'll figure it out. This is all an experiment. We're trying to figure it out as I go. My editing skills are
working on it.
they're limited right now. So I was like, I'm not a technological kind of a guy. It's kind of funny. Like in the restaurant, it started to get a little too high tech for my end. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was used to the old. First of all, I started off the old school handwritten tickets,
Oh
and
yeah.
then it turned into obviously the printer. Or and anybody that's in the culinary world out there, you'll wake yourself up in the middle of the night, hearing that sound of just, oh. Anyway, it got into the point where it's like the touch screen tickets and stuff like that. Like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this part. I would much rather have that ticket printout or a handwritten ticket than be technologically,
Yeah.
trying to work and stuff like that. Like, I can't do it. I can't do that. That's not my thing. So technology is not my thing. If you got a teenager out there that wants to work for free on something fun,
Project
yeah,
wise.
splicing and putting this and that together to make it look a lot better than the first two episodes. Not that this episode's not going to be bad. It hasn't even aired yet, so it could be amazing.
It could be.
I could shock myself and be like, damn, I did good. I got another one.
Yeah.
It blew away, but you know what? I got to do a lot of sweeping and everything else like that. All the dead leaves and everything that fell off of these things. Absolutely gorgeous, but man, did they make a mess.
Oh, I'm sure,
Oh,
yes.
oh, look at that. It's everywhere. And it's like, you can't do anything with it. You can't burn it. You can't, sure as hell, I'm not going to put it in a pizza oven because that's poisonous stuff. So,
Yeah.
We don't mess around with that.
Bulk pickup day.
Yeah, bulk pickup. Oh, we already had that. So,
Yeah, you did.
So we're not going to have bulk pickup for a while, but it's if your kid's looking for something to do and they want to have a fun little project, might involve, hey, great job. Well, you can have a few of your kids over here for, a pizza party and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, why not? Like I'll definitely let somebody, splice and put something together. Absolutely. So, I don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
Like, shit. Yeah.
I actually might know somebody might be interested in that.
If people, I got a son that lives here. He doesn't want to do any of that. It's like, oh my god, it's like you're in the field to be doing computer stuff, and I was like, why don't you do this? No, but anyway,
I hear
privilege.
you. Exactly.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll figure it out. We'll make it look nice. It'll be good. But yeah, it was it's awesome to just kind of, like I said, just kind of sit here and just interview people and drink some wine and eat some.
You made me
good
look
pizza.
bad here.
I got that. I got a full.
You got one full piece.
Almost one full piece. Like the crunch is still there. You can probably hear that on the thing, I'm sure.
I was hungry though. I ain't gonna lie. I was very hungry.
I don't eat very much. Now I'm trying to change my diet, so I eat a little bit of like oatmeal in the morning. It's so sad. It's so much better when you can, fire up 3 or 4 eggs and just get the dippy eggs.
You don't eat eggs?
I do, but it's
okay.
I got to cut back. Like I eat them, but I cut back.
Oh, okay.
Where I used to eat them every day, so I kind of cut back on this and that. I cut back on the cheese. I cut back on the meats. The stuff like that. It's like I still eat the meat, but like not like the processed, stuff like this so much. So like chicken, steak, lamb, fish. I eat all that stuff, but I try to cut back on like the pepperonis and stuff like that. The popular thing now in the culinary world is the charcuterie boards. I can't have that shit anymore. I gotta cut back on all that. Well, I mean, all those, the nitrates and whatever else. I was like, I gotta cut back.
I hear you.
I'll eat the fruit.
Nuts.
I'll eat the fruit. I'll eat the nuts. I can't eat the nuts unless if they're like sugar coated and stuff like that. Yeah. Cut back on that too. So
okay.
But plus I'm teaching a pizza class later on tonight, so I was like, this ain't my only pizza.
Yeah, I hear you. But no, this was, as you can see, this was wonderful. I appreciated it, and
it's awesome. Like I said, sit down, eat, get to know somebody,
and it didn't take long.
What time? The hell time is it?
I don't even know.
My phone's right there.
Your phone's up there. 12:30.
No, we've only been going at 90 minutes.
Yeah,
more or less.
Yeah, about that.
No, not so bad.
Yeah.
Well, my first interview, we went for 5 hours, but then it was like on and off,
yeah.
But it was also cooler too. It's a little warm out here. It's starting to get a little warm in here.
Yeah, a little bit. I can feel it, but it's still not bad.
We can cannonball right into that pool right there.
You can. I gotta go show some houses.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We're you got anything local around here? Or?
Honestly, I have to go to Maricopa.
Way down there.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
So leaving here and going straight out there, but it's like I said, it's a pleasure of mine to be able to do.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a booming area though. I mean, I actually have friends that live down there
well,
and travel up here to work.
because the prices
Yeah.
hasn't hit yet.
Yep.
Yet. You know, once everybody starts fighting it out and they go out there, it's the prices will start going up.
So you think that whole area? They're talking about the big giant possible spread of Phoenix down to Tucson area. You think that's ever gonna truly come to fruition, or
No, it's too far of a
that's a
distance.
lot of
Yeah, the terrain I don't think will allow it. Now, do I see maybe going, Tucson, or I'm sorry, Phoenix, and spreading out and, in Maricopa City?
Mhm.
I can imagine that, just because everybody's already traveling that way and people are moving there. They're selling their houses up here and taking their cash and going down there and damn near almost buying a house for what they are going for down there. You can sell a house up here for $800,000, go down there, buy one for less than 400,000,
Yeah,
and a nice, beautiful home.
yeah, exactly. Um, did you find with everything that happened in California, was there a lot of influx of Californians that you sold to, or
I haven't sold, but I have seen some of projections. I have seen some of the statistics. Is that it's still going on, even from a couple of years ago. Now with the fires, I think that a lot of people are still fighting with insurance,
yeah,
with the state, the government, to be able to get their money. But I still do believe that enough is enough, and they're going to say we're out of here. We're tired of the winds, we're tired of the fires, this and that, and then they're going to come here and other nice destination spots.
I agree.
So,
Arizona's a great place to land if you have to,
well,
So
I don't think if you have to. I mean, we came here by just chance on and everything, and then we didn't know what to expect. But I love it here. I tell people all the time, if you get bored here, it's your own damn fault. There's so much to do here, and it don't even have to cost any money or a lot of money. There's so much to do here, and so that's why I do say, hey, if you're gonna move here, just take it all in, even if it's going out and looking at the damn mountains.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah. I think Arizona has a lot of diversity as far as like here, desert. You go up to Flagstaff or
Flagstaff,
Greer, which unfortunately right now is with the fire out there. Just the change in
Prescott,
elevation and the
Pine Top,
yeah,
all that stuff.
yeah, you get to see the greenery, you get to see the trees and everything else that out here is like our trees are the Palo Verdes and stuff like that. It's like glorified weeds if you ask me, but you get the pine trees up
Somebody
there.
will appreciate it though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But you know, um, it's such a diverse landscape, all around, and it's amazing. You drive from 3 hours, 4 hours in whatever
Well, I
direction.
mean, honestly, we even like going to different cities because Surprise is surprisingly
Surprise.
growing,
Yeah.
and they're getting a lot of stuff out there. Beautiful parks, beautiful area, beautiful shopping centers and restaurants. And it's like, man, it's in Scottsdale. You better watch out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they always talked about Gilbert being the next Scottsdale, and I moved out of there before it ever truly became
Yeah.
the next Scottsdale. But I don't know if that'll ever truly become the next Scottsdale. Like downtown is great, lots of restaurants, lots of places to choose.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't ever think that's going to be like Scottsdale.
Well, I mean,
Just
because
doesn't.
you got
There's
to think
family.
about what
It's more family.
Scottsdale is able to provide. I mean, hell, you have the golf tournament that's there. You have the what is the horse racing there?
Oh,
The
well, that and the polo.
the polo, yeah, the
Yeah.
polo, and just they have Barrett Jackson,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So I don't think you ever be able to replace Scottsdale, and plus Scottsdale's got that name. But Gilbert's got its own thing, unique thing that they have going on as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. have first, second place, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's a different type of environment,
Yeah, of course.
or more Gilbert. Chandler is more family, where, I mean, not that there's not families up in Scottsdale area, but it's more,
Oriented that
yeah,
towards that way.
yeah, you get your
Not
own.
fancy dancy. Everybody
There's
always
lots
thinks
of
that.
little parks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's things to do as far as family are concerned, whereas not so much up this way.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, it's just different lifestyle. I mean, it all depends on what you're looking for. So
None of them was wrong.
whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, every city has its own uniqueness to it, and we can appreciate that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So, well, you
yeah,
wanna
all
you
right,
wanna
let's do it. Let's call it.
we wanna call the shots here, and then we'll just say we can finish up our pizza
Yeah, we'll
and
finish
and
up,
and kick this bottle of wine.
and again, thank you so much for having me on. I had a great conversation and a great pizza. And thank you for allowing me to share my side of the story and everything. Yeah, there you feel
Ooh, we're
that.
getting the wind right now. It's like the wind's like, all right, push it. Remember evening at the Apollo? It's like
Yeah.
the wind's like almost like the clown coming out sweeping you off the stage.
Yeah. I hear you.
Oh my god! It's like, all right, time to go, guys.
Perfect timing.
It is perfect, and it's we had a great night, great day here. You can't beat this weather.
No.
So anybody that's watching this around the country, if you're looking for a place to move, and there's plenty of houses available right here in Arizona. We're located in the Cave Creek area here, just north of Scottsdale. And if you're looking for something to kind of move to,
Hell,
different
even
environment,
visit. Get us a call.
yeah, come.
We'll tell you.
That's what I did. I came in here, I visited, and then eventually me and my ex, we moved out here a
Not
year
us.
later.
We bought house sight unseen and never came here to visit until we moved here.
That's what they call chutzpah.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
yeah,
you
got
definitely
it.
got that, man. Because
Yeah, we never came out here, and we bought a house. We knew we were living or working up here, but we bought a house sight unseen, and honestly, it worked out. We gambled and we won.
that's that's got some balls right there.
Yeah.
The sight unseen thing. I mean, oof, I don't know if I could do that, man.
it
I had a hard
ain't
enough
it ain't
time.
forever, but
Yeah, I
I
know,
mean,
but
it worked out.
I had a hard enough time picking out a freaking apartment. I was like, I'm like, oh
Oh
god,
no,
what the
I'm
hell am I
easy
doing?
going. I'm easy going. Like as you can see, hey, what do you want for pizza? Like pepperoni is fine for me,
Yeah,
and that's just the way I always live. It's less stressful that way.
you go with the flow sometimes, and then you see where it takes you.
I go with the flow a lot.
Yeah, don't fight it. It's one of those things. Like you don't fight against it. You know what I mean? Just kind of let it take you where it's going to take you.
I'm gonna make a post about that on Facebook.
It's true.
Don't fight it. Go with the flow.
Go with the
Man,
flow. Don't fight it,
thank
man.
you. I'm gonna bring that up.
I make good points every once in a while.
That's a good one right now. Good
It's
pizza and good points.
hey, very few and far between, but every once in a while, nail it.
Yeah, I love it.
So, well, thank you again.
Man, thank you.
Once again, we want to push
Shoes for
shoesforsoldiers.org,
Soldiers,
and
DavisRealtyTeam.com.
there you go.
Like I said, you're looking for a refinance as well. I can help you out. And like I said, yeah, we're here to help.
Give Shain a call if you're selling your home. Uh, Definitely give him a call if you're looking to donate, and for a great cause for sure. Help out our men and women overseas and over here. And yeah, once again, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Take care. And we won't probably be able to shut this off from here. Watch this. 3, 2, 1.